Hi, it's Moses and you're watching Crime Focus on Mate TV. I want to quickly talk about Whitney Adeniran, who was a student of Christland School and was reported during an inter-house sports event. This has been trending online about the passing of Whitney Adeniran.
I beg you, in the name of Almighty God, please don't support lies.
I am not supporting.
I am not looking for attention.
I am not supporting. I'm a priest of the Methodist Anglican Church. I am not going to support anything. I am the chairman of all Christian parents. I am not supporting anything. But I want you to remain calm. We have to be there. Whitney is our child. We are all involved.
Please, let me talk, please.
Yes, I am.
What might have happened to her? Was she sick and her parents allowed her to partake in the sports? Or was she attacked by a fellow student and in the process lost her life? What might have happened to her? Well, it was said on the day of the entire sports, they all went to the stadium for the event. Both Whitney and her mom was there, but they were not together because Whitney had to go prepare for her performance. During the performance, Mrs. Adeniran could not find her child. She was worried and later heard that her daughter had collapsed and they've taken her to the hospital. Well, let me leave you to a video Mrs. Adeniran narrated her own part of the story.
Hello everybody, good evening. My name is Whitney Adeniran. The girl in question is my daughter. She's my first child. I will state everything that happened. I don't like trouble. I don't like wahala in my life. I'm an easygoing person. I don't like attention in my life. Oh, let me state what happened. February 9th was the day of their inter-house sports. That was the day they were meant to have their inter-house sports. Anybody who knows Christland knows that Christland has their inter-house sports at Agege Stadium. Last year, I was not able to go on time. My daughter was angry. She said, Mom, you did not even come on time. You did not even come and see me take part in the match past. And I was marching, I was looking for you. I said, I'm sorry. I didn't know the way. I didn't know how to find my way to Agege Stadium. But I promise you, next year, I will be there on time. This year, I tried to go there as early as possible. I was there even before the program started. I met the admin officer, I met the principal, I met part of the PTA committee, I met parents there, we greeted, I sat down. Match pass started. When the match pass started, I looked. The first house matched. I didn't see my child. Second house matched. I didn't see my child. Third house matched. I didn't see my child. I said, she's in Pines, which is greenhouse. I said, maybe she's among the Queen's entourage, because I remember she mentioned that she's among the entourage of the Queen or King or something like that. Those ones matched. I didn't see her. I said, okay, maybe she's in the arts and crafts or home economics or IT or photography or something. Those ones all passed. I didn't see my child. I got worried. I called the school, her school bus driver. Mr. Said, please, was my child among those you brought to the stadium? That I have not seen her. I've been in this stadium now for going to some 30 minutes thereabouts, and I've not seen my daughter. He said, Mommy Whitney, I brought her. She's in the stadium there. Don't worry, you will see her. I quickly left to go and do some things. I said, okay, no problem. As this time, the march past was still going on, dignitaries, parents, teachers, everybody was marching. The year 12 final year students, they were all marching. I didn't want to interrupt the march past because parents are opposite where children are kept. As after I finished speaking with the driver, he said he brought her. I said, okay, maybe she got hungry and had to leave and buy something outside. Because she had breakfast before leaving the house. I made sure she had breakfast. Then she was going for inter-house sports. And she was with money. I went to the snacks point outside. I didn't see my daughter. I said, where could this girl be? So I waited. Match past was over. I crossed to the other side. On my way there, I met a man. The man said, madam, parents are not allowed at this side. I said, I know. I just want to check on my daughter. I said, okay. I went in there and I saw some students there. And I asked a boy there, please. Meanwhile, before I got to that across, a bus sped by on high speed, zoomed. And I said, how can a bus be driving like this when children are in the stadium? But I just said that and I went on my own. So when I saw the boy, I said, please, I'm looking for Whitney Adeniran. The boy said, a girl just fainted here. but they have taken her. The school bus has taken her to the hospital. I said, a girl fainted. Oh, may God give her quick recovery. Why did she faint now? Anyway, I'm looking for Whitney Adeniran. She's my daughter. The boy said, the girl that fell, her name is Whitney. I heard them calling Whitney when they were pouring her water. I said, Jesus. But it's not my own child. My daughter's name is Whitney Adeniran. And I brought out my phone. The boy said, I don't know her surname, but I know her name is Whitney. I brought out my phone and I showed the boy her picture. And he said, this is the girl that fell. I said, what? What happened to her? Why would my child fall? She hasn't done anything strenuous. She wasn't sick. She hasn't done any activity. What is going on? Why would my child faint? A man was there. The man said, Madam, ibilo durosi, oshubu, emini modo misilara. Meaning she was standing here. She fell. I poured water on her. I said, who took her? He said, school bus. No ambulance, no doctor, no nurse, no medical personnel, nobody. There was no emergency provision on ground in a place where you have over 500 students, in a place where you have over 100 parents, in a country where insecurity is so high. You kept our children in that field with no proper medical arrangements in case of any emergencies.
According to her, can a school be having such an event and there will be no nurse or ambulance on ground if there be any emergency? Or she might not have seen any of them around. Do you think in an event as this, no medical personnel would be around?
Fortunately, on our way there, before we got to the central mosque, we saw their school bus by the side of the road. So we automatically knew that was where she was. I jumped down from the school bus and I rushed in. Rushing in, I saw the woman that went with her, the staff that went with her. I said, Madam, where is my child? What happened? Why did she faint? She said, I don't know. She's in there. I went in there and I saw my daughter's. The Sola did not say anything to me. I went in there and I met my daughter on her bed. She was already when I got there and I saw her. All this happened in less than 10 minutes. She was already. She was drenched, soaked to the skin. Water was dripping. I knelt down. I called on God. I shouted. I screamed. I felt her pulse. No pulse. I put my hand on her chest. It was deathly silent. My daughter was silent. I asked the doctor there. I said, Doctor, what happened to my daughter? The woman looked at me and said, Madam, from the way I'm saying things, is like cardiac arrest. I said, cardiac arrest. Whitney was 12. She was 12 October 30th last year, 2022. How does a 12-year-old have a cardiac arrest? No pre-existing medical condition, no pre-existing heart condition. She was hale and healthy. She was not sick in any form. If she was sick, I would never allow her leave the house. If she was sick, if she had even minor headache, I would never allow her leave the house. If she was sick, I would have taken her to that school myself. But she was not sick. She was looking forward to the inter-house sport. Why was she not there? Why did my daughter? I said, okay, even if she would have cardiac arrest, why should one cardiac arrest kill a healthy teenager? Just one. She don't get stroke. She's not in coma. She's not unconscious. She's dead. And let me state this. By the time I got there, my daughter's lips had already turned black. Her tongue was turned black. I shook her. I held her by her shirts. That picture I see where she's lying down, I held her by her clothes. I jacked her up and I threw her and my child fell. No response. I carried her on my body. She was flopping. She was flopping. I kept asking the staff that came with her, what happened to my child? What happened to Whitney Adeniran? This is my first fruit on earth. Me, Lori, oh, you are going to come Kilo Shele, mommy. Nobody could give me an answer.
Could a 12-year-old have a heart attack, a child without any pre-existing health issues, as she claims? Could this be true? It might be because it's an inter-house sport, and maybe after running some race, she got the heart attack and no medical personnel was on ground at that moment to give her first aid. Then she gave up. It might have happened that way, but we need to hear from people that was there when she collapsed. Could they have taken her to an immunization center, as she said? This is a very serious issue. I believe hearing from the school authorities will also help in a better understanding to what happened to Adeniran Whitney.
When he got there, he parked his car. He didn't even put it off because his mind was, okay, let me go in and pick my child. And let me state, my child was not taken to a hospital. She was taken to an immunization center. But that is not even my pain. My pain is there was no proper first aid management. There was no proper management. There was nothing that was done for her. She was brought to the hospital because when her medical reports came in, it said on arrival. That was what her medical report said. When my husband came, he went in straight to where she was to pick his child and go to another hospital. He came in and met her. He screamed, shouted, "Desola! That is, yes, stand up. What is happening to my child?" My husband knelt down, crying, begging doctor, please help me. This is my first child.
And if it was true, it might be the closest medical center to them since it's an emergency. All what Mrs. Adeniran wants is answer to what happened to her daughter at that day. Closure to all this problem. The school authorities should also give a detailed narration to what happened to Whitney on that day. Well, the student has narrated to what happened to Whitney at the inter-house sports before she was taken to the hospital.
So there's this girl and her name is Whitney, and let's just say that like we're not really friends and stuff. So they went for inter-house sports, and in my old school, for inter-house sports, you like go to a stadium. Yeah, so you go to the stadium, and in the stadium there are like cotton candy machines, popcorn machines, and stuff like that. So Whitney always buys like cotton candy and popcorn, like that was always does. So like she went there, and she was like, "Oh, remember some cotton candy, like right?" And saw nothing of it. She was so excited for inter-house sports, you know. And then her hands were now wet, and she now mistakenly touched one of the cotton candy parts. And then she now got electrocuted, and then she now fainted, and her mouth was foaming, her veins were bulging. Her mouth was foaming, her veins were popping, and her tongue just disappeared. Her tongue disappeared. That poured water on her, and then they took her to the back, and then they took her to the hospital. And everybody thinks she's dead, and I really hope she's not. Like, she never really liked me, but like this thing, you know, it's actually really scary, and I seriously can't believe that happened to somebody, and that someone can be so excited for something, and then you know they like person never alive in it again. But go for I just don't want a person. I don't want it.
Could this also be true to her Whitney? Since she went to buy popcorn, the vendors should also narrate his or her part, and also students around her should narrate their own to what really happened to Whitney on that day, so we can get a solid proof on what happened that day, because this is not enough. Mr. Adeniran, the father of Whitney, had an interview on TVC, and he also narrated to his own part of what he heard and witnessed on that day.
So how can a child just slumped and she's confirmed right now within a space of 20 minutes? So this was a dilemma, and that was why she started reaching out to me immediately to come over to that venue. I dropped everything I was doing in the office. I rushed down to that venue, and when I saw the place where they even took my daughter, it was a God-forsaken environment where you see mechanic workshop are all over. There are dingy houses, very dirty environment, no power supply, one single woman there who claimed to be a medical doctor. And I saw my daughter in one cubicle, one small room on a plank, lay down and said she is dead. So I asked the school authority what happened to my daughter, what led to her death. And what the school authority could tell me was that my daughter just slumped at the venue. So I asked them, has she already engaged in any activity at all? They said no. Did she do a march past? They said no. So what happened? How did she slump? And you rush her to the hospital. Now, I asked the nurse, because the school said they have a nurse who was on standby. So I asked the nurse, so what did you know about my daughter, of my 12 years old? She said, well, she was also not at the point where the incident happened, that they beckoned on her to come. And by the time she got there, she checked her pulse, she checked her eyes, and she realized that her eyes already dilated. And she realized she's already gone, but she cannot pronounce her. That is why they took her to this health center, to a doctor who can certify her. So my question is, when you realize that my daughter has at that venue, did you reach out to the mother? You also knowingly well that the mother was present at that particular place. Did you call her? You did not call her. You hurriedly put her in a school bus and you took her to this place, and now you are telling me my daughter's slumped. And I told them there is something you guys know that you are not talking about, because within the space of 1 hour 30 minutes that this incident happened, my baby lips are turned black, her tongue gone black, her face already turning black. I said, what could happen to a child within a space of 1 hour that she give up, the whole body is already turning black?
So according to Mr. Adeniran, do you think Christian School is right for not informing Whitney's parents immediately as it happened, and for her to have slumped without involving in any sport activities? Could the story about her being electrocuted be true? Well, there is also a leaked voice call between Mr. Adeniran and the principal. Listen.
No, you don't need to come to see me. Just talk to me. Just talk to me.
My heart is heavy.
Coming to see me,
I can't even talk now.
coming to see me will not help Chrisland at all. Chrisland have been doing this. They've been going free. But you see, I will fight. I've been caught. But before I give up the breath, I will bite with the last thing in me. I will bite hard. I will bite that every soul will feel it in that school. And if you have power, if the management have power, let them go to anywhere in this nation. Anywhere, presidency, anywhere. Anywhere, wherever they will go, I will not stop fighting. I will not. I won't stop fighting. That girl changed the course of my life. That girl made me a man. That girl came into my life and changed everything for me. There is nothing I will not do. So please, I'm begging you, tell me what happened to my daughter. Either student, eyewitness, anybody there, talk to all of them, press them, ask them questions. Let them tell you the truth. Madam, the moment you hear that truth, this is my direct line. Do not hesitate to call me on the phone. Pass that truth to me before Monday morning. You don't understand? Because if I don't have that truth by Monday, 14:42, same time I'm calling you now. Okay, Apadi.
We actually need to hear from the school. We actually need to hear the school version of how she lost her life before we can draw out any conclusion. I believe the police are investigating this matter, investigating this case to get answers of what really happened to her. Drop your comments in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel. Also, turn on your notification. Should there be any update, you'll be the first to get it.